J-Dub is back at it here to give everyone another Game of Thrones Season 6 episode review video. Before I get to that, though, pretty important, if you are caught up to the point where I am at rewatching or watching Game of Thrones, or you're just not that entirely sure, you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention as well as put in the description for you. If that has to be the case, you're not caught up, it would be my suggestion that you don't watch this video any further, simply to avoid any potential spoilers. This will be Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 4. Title of this episode is called Book of the Strangers. This will be my review, reaction, recap after just finishing watching the episode. So, Jon Snow is released from the Night's Watch by his death. His obligation to the Night's Watch is seemingly over with because of the fact that he technically died, and states his desires to head south as he is disillusioned by the betrayal of his or by the Knights and Watchmen. Not all of them, but, Alistair Thorne, Ollie, and the others. And tired of the endless fighting. I'd be tired of that endless fighting, too. Sansa, Brienne, and Podrick arrive at Castle Black, and Sansa is reunited with Jon Snow. It's actually a very touching moment. I was surprised by, how it affected me just a little bit. When I first watch episodes, it doesn't affect me as much, but when I rewatch them is when things like this affect me a little bit. And then after telling each other their stories of what's happened, Sansa tries to convince Jon to help her take back Winterfell. However, Jon is still reluctant to fight as he's just tired of all the fighting. Frustrated, Sansa declares to Jon that she will take back Winterfell whether he helps her or he doesn't help her. Meanwhile, Brienne, eventually later in the episode, confronts Davos and Melisandre and informs them that she, in fact, herself killed Stannis Baratheon to avenge Renly Baratheon's death. She warns Davos and Melisandre that even though that was in the past, she does not forget or forgive. And then sometime later in the episode, a letter from Ramsay to Jon Snow arrives. And Ramsay actually gloats in the letter that he has Rickon in his dungeon and demands Sansa's return, threatening to have the Bolton army exterminate the wildlings, kill Rickon, and gang rape Sansa while forcing Jon to watch before they kill him. So Jon, with that, agrees to help Sansa retake Winterfell. And then when Tormund warns him that the wildlings are outnumbered by Ramsay's army, Sansa points out that Jon can use his status as the son of Ned Stark to unite the North against Ramsay. Littlefinger arrives at Runstone in the Vale when Lord Royce asks how Sansa became married to Ramsay instead of traveling to the Fingers. Littlefinger claims Roose Bolton's men kidnapped her and implies that Roose informed him of their destination. He manipulates Robin Arryn into considering executing Royce, then into giving him a second chance after he pledges his absolute loyalty. Littlefinger then tells Robin Arryn that Sansa, his cousin, has escaped the Boltons and is taking refuge at Castle Black, but that she is still not safe. So Robin Arryn agrees to command Lord Royce, to lead the Knights of the Vale to protect her. Despite Grey Worm and Missandei's objections, Tyrion arranges a diplomatic meeting with representatives from Astapor, Yunkai, and Volantis. He proposes a deal allowing the city 7 years, which I think is too long of a time, to transition away from slavery while compensating the masters for any of the losses that they're going to take. In return, the masters will cease their support of the Sons of Harpy. As the representatives deliberate, Tyrion is confronted by former slaves and Meereen, who, of course, oppose any kind of negotiation with the masters. Grey Worm and Missandei reluctantly support Tyrion, but in private, they warn him that the masters, with whom they are both familiar with, will use him if he tries to use them. And then we have Lady Margaery Tyrell, who is brought to meet the High Sparrow, and warns her to stay away from her life of riches and sin, and recounts his past of how he was a proud cobbler. He learned his wealth-guided pursuits were lies, and that the shoeless poor were closer to the truth than anyone. He takes Margaery to see Loras Tyrell, who is breaking under the Sparrow's torture and is willing to do anything to make it stop. Margaery, of course, realizes this and that the High Sparrow is trying to use Loras to break her and tells him to remain strong. Cersei, she meets with Tommen, who brings up the High Sparrow. Tommen is reluctant to provoke him, but Cersei says he is dangerous because he has no respect for the crown. And then Tommen also tells Cersei that Margaery's Walk of Atonement will happen soon. So Cersei relays the information to Kevan and Olenna. Of course, Lady Olenna is horrified and pledges her army to defeat the Sparrows. Kevan is bound by Tommen not to attack the Sparrows, but is swayed when Cersei herself points out that there is also no order to defend the Sparrows from Olenna's army, and that he can have his son, Lancel, back once the Sparrows are defeated, assuming his son makes it out of the battle. And then we have Theon Greyjoy, no longer weak, returns to the Iron Islands and reunites with Yara. Yara has not forgiven Theon for not coming with her after she caught the costly assault on Dreadfort, and accuses Theon of returning to take advantage of Balon's death to seize the throne. Theon insists that he only heard the news after landing and promises that he will instead support Yara's claim at the King's Moot. And then we have Osha, one of my favorite characters, is brought before Ramsay. This isn't going to go good. Who asks her why she was helping Rickon. Osha claims that she intended to betray Rickon and attempts to seduce Ramsay while reaching for a nearby knife. However, Ramsay tells her that he is aware Osha used similar tactics to escape Theon Greyjoy and stabs her in the neck, and he does indeed kill Osha and still has Rickon. Oh, that sucked. Oh well. Ramsay, you don't want to fuck with Ramsay. And then we have Jorah and Daario Naharis arrive at Vaz Dothrak, and they hide their weapons as they are forbidden in the city. In the process, Jorah accidentally reveals his grayscale infection to Daario. They encounter Daenerys outside the temple of Dosh Khaleen and try to convince her to sneak out of the city, but Daenerys knows that it is impossible due to the 100,000 plus Dothrakis that are present in the city. Instead, she tells them that she has a different plan and that they are going to help her. And there was a chick that Daenerys was with, and Daario was going to kill her, slit her throat. And Daenerys said, no, you're going to be on the other side. You believe in me as a Khaleesi. Just play along. So later in the night, Daenerys stands before the Gallard calls in the temple to hear her fate. There, she recalls her pregnancy ritual in this temple and Khal Drogo's vow to conquer Westeros. She accuses the Khals of being unsuited to leading the Dothraki due to their lack of ambition, and says that she will lead them herself, to which they just laugh. And then when Khal Morrow and the other Khals threaten to gang rape her, she then tips over the 2 stands of fire onto the straw floor, quickly setting the entire temple on fire and killing all the Khals who have been trapped inside by Jorah and Daario Naharis as they put wood in the way of the door opening. And then the Dothraki then witness Daenerys emerging from the burning temple, naked but unburned. Amazed, the Dothraki, along, of course, with Jorah and Daario Naharis, bow down to her, and that is how the episode ends. So, pretty good episode. I liked a lot of moments in the episode. Of course, I didn't like the part with Osha getting stabbed in the neck and dying. I thought that was kind of sad that they brought her back just to kill her off right away. Really enjoyed the Theon, or not, I don't enjoy anything Theon does, although I'm starting to come around a little bit more on him now. I enjoyed the part with Sansa and Jon Snow reuniting. This was the first episode where Tormund gets to see Brienne, and you can tell that he's just obsessed with her. The looks he gives her, it's pretty funny, and of course that becomes comic relief. for the rest of the show. So pretty good stuff. I'm going to give the episode a score of a 9.2 out of 10. The character of the episode, I was going to give it to Sansa because she was really good, but then the ending with Daenerys, I have to give it to Daenerys because she was just brutal, killing all those calls and all that. So you've heard what I have to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of Game of Thrones, go ahead and smash that like button. Please smash it. If you know anybody that would be interested in any type of Game of Thrones content, especially stuff like this, you can go ahead and share the video with them. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about your thoughts. What would you give this episode as a score? Who would be your character of the episode, and what would be your favorite moment? My favorite moment was the Sansa Jon Snow reuniting the first time since season 1. Got to go with that. And of course, last but certainly not least, I definitely want to grow the channel, so don't forget to hit that sub button, subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And JDev will return.